Irvine, hi. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Happy to be here.
So look, I'm a bit excited about your new business. You're the General Manager of GYROstream, which is a Brisbane-based digital distribution service and the first of its kind in Australia. So how did you get to the point where you were opening up this amazing business?
So I've been involved in the music industry for about 20 years. Initially as an artist, which has taken me kind of all crazy places like Afghanistan and the Falkland Islands and places I never thought I'd imagine that I would be going to. And then I spent about 12 years in digital distribution basically the entire time. So I was a production manager for Universal Music in Sydney, did digital distribution for Universal Music in London, and then I did a really good mix of independent music and major label stuff here in Brisbane for Due Process and Creative Control. So I've always been in that kind of operations space when it comes to the music industry in terms of making sure releases come out on time. And then about 12 months ago, kind of had this crazy idea that it was time that, you know, Australia had a digital distribution service that was kind of open to everybody, and offer that kind of local support that I really thought was lacking for independent music in Australia.
So look, I'm sure you'd agree that now is, an amazing time to be an independent artist, a better time than ever, really. Would you agree that that sector is experiencing a massive growth?
Yeah, what's happening in independent music now is amazing because with, the streaming services, everything is global now. So the traditional gatekeepers are starting to fall by the wayside and independent music has a much more level playing field, more so than it ever has before. The independent music sector is now, these days it's over 30% in Australia. It's nearly, 40% globally. That's expected to grow to almost, up to around 50% over the next decade. So as an independent musician who can get your music out globally, now is a great time. We work with a lot of musicians who their biggest market is the US or London or even Turkey, some really random places that would have never been able to, get their music out to before. With the digital technologies these days.
It's exciting times for indies, hey?
It's a great time for indies. The playing field is finally leveling out. It's not quite there yet, but it's better than it has been, for a very long time.
Can you tell me a bit more about GYROstream and exactly what kind of services you provide for indie artists?
So the premise with GYROstream was to make a service that you could basically sign up to and get your music up, as simply and as quickly as possible. So, it's free to sign up with the site, and then once you're into your dashboard, we really wanted to create some really relevant music services for independent musicians here in Australia. So the first one of those we felt was really important was the PR. So we're offering a really cheap, affordable PR package where artists may not have had the chance to have access to PR before because of cost constraints or various other factors. We have we create a vinyl and CD manufacturer, so we're one of the only digital distributors that can actually do all our vinyl. We have a sync service, so we work with sync partners here and in Europe, so that we have a specific database that you can opt into that looks for opportunities for your music. Other commercial opportunities for your music can be TV, film, online advertising, standard advertising, all those things. Again, that a lot of independent musicians don't normally have access to. And we offer things like insurance, which again, it kind of sounds a little bit boring, but it's one of those things that we felt is really relevant to independent musicians to educate them on the importance of those types of services. And then obviously our core offering, other than those services, our distribution model, which was really important for us to make sure that it stayed competitive with a lot of those international services, and that our network was up to scratch in terms of being able to deliver around the world, just like those other international services. But the biggest thing is just having that local support, so that on release day, if something goes wrong, we're only a phone call away.
I think that's so important. I've worked with artists when they've been trying to get hold of international digital distributors and, they can't get answers and it's taking days to sort of sort out issues. So I think that's a huge plus. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about what you're doing. Just regarding, GYROstream and what kind of artists you take in, is there any criteria anything in particular that you require? Or?
No, we don't curate at all. So basically, the difference between us and a lot of the services out there, obviously we're not the only distributor in Australia, but the difference for us is that you can literally sign up and upload your music and have it out on Spotify kind of by the end of the week. And we accept, music from all genres, you know, we are trying to be the most diverse kind of distributor that you can possibly be.
That's a fantastic goal to have. And so what about the PR? Does that, is there a qualifying process for that, or is that slightly different?
Yeah, it is a little bit different just because of the resources that it takes. So, you know, we've still got a small team. So as much as we'd like to do PR for everybody, if we could, we still have to, you know, look at each submission on its merits. And again, we're not going to necessarily do, you know, certain types of PR unless we feel like we can actually add benefit to that artist, and, you know, obviously having to be a new release and all that kind of stuff as well. So there are some qualifications in terms of the PR side of stuff, but that's just, you know, in everyone's interest, obviously.
Excellent. Well, look, what I like to do is kind of summarise everything we've talked about so the indies have a little kind of nugget of wisdom to take away with them, or a summary of what we've just discussed. So what would you say is the summary or the key point that we've discussed here today?
Just, you know, just the fact that, you know, there's a really true alternative distributor to the big international services out there when it comes to cost and distribution network, and the fact that we, you know, accept music from all cultures, all genres, all genders, if you like. You know, we're completely open door policy. So, you know, we're really trying to make a difference to the independent sector here in Australia.
I love that. I love your mission. I want to be part of this mission.
Thank you.
It's very cool. So look, just to finish up, I think we'll just have a fun question. If you were stuck on a desert island for the rest of your life and you could only take one album with you, what would it be?
One album with me? Oh, fantastic question. Probably Supertramp, Breakfast in America.
I love how you just knew that, and that's a hell of an album.
Mainly because it's to do with food as well, so probably, you know, it might get me by if there's not a lot of food on the island too.
Yeah, just at least one of your senses will be indulged.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Andy. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you very much.